I'm Ree, and you're tuned into Written Articles on Camera.
Hi, I'm Stefanie.
How old were you when you were pregnant?
I was 23.
What was your baby, a girl or boy?
She's a girl, and she just turned 2.
Yes. How was she born, naturally or C-section?
C-section. It was like emergency. Yeah.
How was that? Was she breech? Was it it was a problem?
It was what's it called? Like when the placenta abruption.
Oh.
Like last minute, yeah. So, but it was like fine. He didn't make it seem like anything was like going wrong. He just like, all right, this is happening. We gonna get you in there, but she's doing good. We just don't want no problems. So at least there's no issues after that.
How many weeks was she when she was?
I think it was like 38.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 38, 39.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It was closer to the.
I think I was like 2 weeks off from my due date. So it wasn't bad.
How was your pregnancy? Was it good? Was it a rocky road?
In the beginning, it was. Me and her dad weren't talking for like the first 3 months, so it was tough in the beginning, and then it got better after like the 4th, 5th month. You know, we started talking again. He apologized for his little issues, and then everything after that was fine. Like it wasn't until pretty much after that things started to get a little messy, but the whole pregnancy was somewhat. It wasn't like too bad.
How was your mental state during the pregnancy?
And in the beginning, that was probably the worst because it was like a shock to me. I wasn't expecting that because, like, first of all, I was on birth control, so like everything was like, it was like, what the fuck? All the time. But like, it was just a shock to me. And then I was kind of alone at that moment because, you know, when I did tell him, it was kind of like, all right, jump to, let's just take care of it. Let's, you know, get rid of it, whatever. And it was 2 different, you know, point of views. My best friend at the time, you know, she was also going through her thing, and I don't like to, you know, put my issues on other people when they're going through stuff. I kind of just deal with things, you know, myself. So I kind of just felt alone. But once everything, you know, settled and I let time pass pretty much, and we had that conversation, you know, that level-headed conversation, then, you know, we kind of worked it and figured it out. Still kind of makes me like upset now just because, you know, thinking about everything me and him done went through, it was just a lot. It was a lot in the beginning.
And it's a lot during a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially when y'all are in kind of like this limbo of like, what are we? So
Right.
it's like dealing with that and then this on top of it. It was a lot. So.
How was your hospital experience?
COVID was still pretty much a worry at that time, obviously, but the hospital I went to, it was like you had to go through, they did like this triage type of thing. So it was like they admit you first, figure out if you really needed to be admitted. Like it was weird. They had me waiting in the lobby for like a good 45 minutes before they realized, all right, let's take her back and, you know, check if she's good. They had me filling out paperwork before that. Yeah, it was crazy. I'm like, and then the whole time I'm like having contractions, but my water didn't break. It was like that whole thing. And I was good, like I was fine, but it was like, we're not that. Like, so yeah, it wasn't bad. And then after the C-section, they had me there for like a good 3-4 days, just cause like it was hard to get up after that.
Yes, it took 3 people to get me up.
I relied on him a lot, like during that time, because I couldn't really like sit up at that time. I slept like this. It was crazy.
It's hard.
So yeah.
Trying to get up by yourself was very, very hard.
Yeah. So like when she was born and when she did cry, I relied on him a lot to, you know, get up, change her, see if she's good. But kind of made me feel like, damn, I'm just sitting here like. Besides, you know, trying to breastfeed, like I was just like, this is crazy.
How did you like having a male doctor? I had a male OB. How was it?
Honestly, I like it better, in my opinion, because I did have a girl OB before I switched to him, and I just felt like she was just kind of rough. I don't know. I felt like she was kind of, but that's the same thing like with like my regular gyno. Like I just felt like girl doctors, or the ones I've experienced, had a habit of just being too rough with me. And there was one doctor actually who made this like really inappropriate comment to me.
Wow.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just switch. And then I found him, and he's like my regular gyno, and then became my OB. He's like both. So I was comfortable
I recommended mine. Like, I recommend having a male OB because I was just like, it was different, and he just had the experience, so it just was more comfortable, and I guess he was gentle in a way, like he like talked you through things. You're like, okay,
yeah. Before he does it, like he'll make sure
yeah,
he's comfortable, and you know they have like student doctors, so he would before even bringing them in, he always told me and made sure I was okay with it. So I just like the fact that he gave me that option instead of putting me in that situation. So that was good.
How was bringing baby home? How was it?
That first, probably the hardest 3 months of my life. I'm not even. That was like the time I started going through postpartum depression. Like it hit me a lot because the first week or two, it was fine. You know, everybody's like baby stuck. My mom baby stuck. He's baby stuck. I am his mom. So like we're all trying to figure it out. But it was mainly like my mom still had like this expectation. I'm still the youngest. I'm the only girl. So even though y'all just had a baby, like he can't be here too late. He can't be So it's like I just had a baby, you still got these rules on me? Like I don't understand. So her input and then the stress of breastfeeding, because that was also a hard thing for me. I did it for maybe a month. It just didn't work. I had to switch the formula. So on top of that, it was a lot. Because after those 2 weeks, that's when the arguments for me and my mom started happening. And it didn't make anything any better. So it put my mental in like a real tough situation to the point where he knew about it. So like he was mad that my mom was putting me through the situation. So he would be mad, and then me and him would get into situations because I'm like, that's my mom, you can't really say nothing. So it was a lot, and then I kind of pulled back a little bit because I didn't want anyone to really know I was dealing with it. I kind of felt like I should just keep it in. And then there was a point at like the end of the summer, I was like, nah, this ain't it. So I decided to, go to therapy and actually talk to someone who went through it. And I think that's when I was like, yeah, this is helping. This is where I made the best decision for myself and for my daughter. Because without that therapy, I don't even know where I would be at that point. So it was hard. It was a lot. It was nice where I was like, I would be fine all day, but then I would just cry. I didn't know if it was like the hormones or what I was going through. So
looking back at it now, do you feel that if you went to therapy earlier, it would have helped that situation?
I do, because I feel like as soon as you feel like you're getting into that hole, you feel like you're getting into that mind space, get that help. A lot of time, therapy is not like recognized in my household at all. Like they don't believe in it. So for me to take that step, I was like, all right, that was a good decision. But if you feel like it, it's a good decision. Male, female, like it's just don't even let it fester. Just just let it out.
How has it been the first 2 years?
Oh man, that little girl is me 100%. She got my attitude. She looked like me, but it's good. I love seeing her grow up. Like I don't know, it put a whole different perspective. I had goals and I had things I wanted to do, but when you have like a child, like it makes you want to do it 10 times harder. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you think about your career, but you're like, all right, what's that plus more? You know what I'm saying? So she made me do what I have to do, probably faster than what the timeline that I wanted it. So I'm grateful for her.
Where do you see yourself as a mom? Like, how do you see life now? What's different than before?
I kind of don't let people decide, like, tell me how to parent. I feel like in the beginning, because of my mom, she was like, oh no, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And that was the way, she brought us up. But sometimes you're like, okay, the way you raised us may not, always fit. So I'm glad I kind of, not all of it. I just, from some things I kind of deviated from what she did. So I'm kind of glad I did, because I set my own parenting guide for myself.
Right.
And a lot of the things that she did for us, I wouldn't say was technically right or I would agree with. So I'm glad I kind of changed that in a way.
Do you feel that you're breaking that cycle?
Yeah, low key. Cause low key, there's just every family has that kind of like toxic kind of vibes to it. So I feel like I'm trying real hard to not bring that around my daughter. I don't want her, growing up how I did or feel the way that I did growing up. I have 2 older brothers, and sometimes I feel like, boys get, a little more like tension or slack. They put a lot of pressure on the girls, in my household. So I kind of feel like I don't want to do that for her. I don't want her to feel like, all right, I gotta be this, I gotta be independent, I gotta be, strong and, not care about no man. Like, be independent, but be, soft. So I don't want her to be hard all the time.
And you said you're the youngest?
Yeah.
Are you the first one to have a baby?
No, I'm not the first, but I have a niece, but that's a crazy thing, because my brother was actually younger than me when he had, his daughter, and my mom didn't go as hard.
Why do you think that she went so?
I don't know if it's because there's like the stigma, like when a girl has a child, the mom knows that she's gonna be needed, But when a boy has it's kind of different. I see like I can't even explain it. It's hard to explain. Like when my brother had his daughter, my mom wasn't as involved. It was mainly his daughter's mother's mom who was in everything, which is understandable. I was living in my mom's house. She was there. She was around. She was there to help me at night when I couldn't breastfeed or help prop me up when I had my C-section. Like she was my rock when I came home at night. So it's a little different. She wasn't around for my niece's younger days.
Yeah. Do you feel like that support during that time was very beneficial?
Oh yeah. We had our fights, but without my mom, I don't know if I would have been able to, do a lot of things I did, because a month after having my daughter, not only was I going through that whole mental, state, I started back school a month after. So without her, taking time off from work, she took 2 months off to be there and help me. So without that, I wouldn't be as far along, getting to the end of my schooling.
And do you work full time too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Go school day and
school and work and baby and life.
It's a lot. So I'm definitely thankful for
What advice would you give your younger self being pregnant?
Ooh, being pregnant. Or just don't get pregnant too early. Or just, if you're gonna get pregnant, just make sure that you where you want to be. Get that degree. Or make sure you got a stable job, you got money, income, And don't, if you're in a situation where it's difficult, really think about it. Don't just jump to, I'm gonna do this. Just think about it.
What advice would you give to the moms who went through postpartum or going through postpartum?
Talk. Don't hold it. Don't hold it in. You hold it in, it makes it worse. And then you'll end up having, that time where you let it build, it's gonna blow. And when you blow, it's not gonna be pretty. So